tonight. Again, any questions, please drop into the comments section. We'd love to be able to see what everybody's doing, thinking about. Weather-wise, we'll give you an update on the forecast as we go along. But once again, if you've got anything in the way of questions, this is your opportunity to ask more about what exactly is going on. And again, for the time being, it's decently quiet. Next several days, maybe looking at an increase in the possibility of showers and thunderstorms, and that's where we really start running into more problems. Of course, there's going to be a lot of outdoor activities coming up as we get into the Easter weekend. A lot of Easter egg hunts, picnics, things like that going on. But unfortunately, the way it looks for right now is that it's going to be decently on the wet side out there, especially as this next front makes its way through the area, and that could take our temperatures from the 80s to the 60s. We'll talk about that in the 7-day forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Think YouTube and Twitch are online. Everything looks good there, so we'll go ahead and start everything off for this evening. If you've never joined us before on here, welcome to the show. We do this semi-irregularly, usually about 9:45 in the evenings Eastern time on there, and we love to have you along and asking questions and able to interact with you on here as well. This is our exclusive video weather blog, Weather Overtime. And again, if you've got questions about anything involving the forecast, if we can answer them, great. If we can't answer them, we'll do our best to give you more information about where you might be able to find details to answer your question. But for tonight, things not too shabby out there, decently mild, and should be continuing that way. Next several days will be very much on the warm side. We'll have more on that forecast coming up here for you in just a little bit. Thanking News 12 viewer Terry B. Nelson from the Flintstone area for our weather window picture of the day. From the area getting a bit of blue sky and the Old Glory and the Tennessee Vol flag making its way out into the wind, so not seeing too much in the way of anything different from what we had today. A little bit more of a few clouds out there, but for the most part, again, pretty much exactly what we saw here for today, so rather on the nice side. For the next few days, if you got any weather pictures out there, please give us a shout and drop them to our social media pages in the comments section, or again, you can email them to us, or again, you can just go to our website, WDEF.com/photos, if you'd like to take a look at what's going on, what other people have been sending in. And we could also, again, use some more pictures always, so please be certain to take a snapshot out there as long as it involves weather in some form or fashion. Let us see what you've been looking at out there. For today, it was quite on the mild side. Again, we were rather on the toasty side across much of the area. Numbers for back into temperatures within about 5 degrees of a record high that hasn't been set or tied since 1940, and our record low hasn't been set or tied since 1881, but we were well above that for today. The big weather story is down in this section to where we are looking at a dry start to the month. It's a brand new month, so the counter starts over, and we were about, I believe, 2 inches behind on rainfall for Chattanooga for the month of March. So it's been a very dry 2026, and as of right now, if we got this much tomorrow, that would get us back to 0, but that's about half a foot of rainfall just to get us back to normal, and that's not good. And that's where we're looking at the problem where it comes to anything involving the possibility of wildfires and drought. We'll take a look at that situation coming up here in just a little bit. Downtown from the News 12 studios, looking north on Broad Street, Signal Mountain lights off in the distance. Traffic on Broad Street moving along pretty well after that little bit of a traffic jam at the Taco Bell on Broad Street earlier tonight. Temperatures, pleasant. We were back in the 80s last hour. We've now finally reached the 70s. And numbers, again, with a little bit of a healthy southerly breeze, clouds coming and going. The chances of what we had in the way of rain have pretty much gone. We do have a few scattered showers taking place, moving up from around I-20, Talladega, and into northeastern parts of Alabama for tonight. We're not looking at any severe weather, really doubtful that we're going to wind up with anything. Now, these are basically what amounts to pulse showers and pulse thunderstorms. A couple of lightning strikes right there around Albertville and Guntersville. This again, these storms develop, drift, collapse, and then start back over again. So we may see a few more showers, especially along on either side of I-59, moving up our direction into the rest of the News 12 viewing area. So you may need the umbrella at some point in time. I guess it would help if I actually got all the microphones out here and make sure that everybody can hear me properly. Sorry about that. The audio quality should improve greatly. If you're on Twitch for this evening, or pardon me, YouTube, sorry about the audio issues there on that. That was my brain malfunction on that one. So for tonight, again, temperatures comfortable, chances of rain somewhere out there from time to time. Temperatures are back comfortable into the high 60s to the lower 70s. A few lower 60s showing up over into around western North Carolina, but everybody else quite pleasant for tonight. And we do have a decent amount of very warm conditions, especially into the Mississippi Valley, but that warm air out west is continuing to affect our weather here. The cold temperatures, basically I-70, it's 73 in Springfield, Missouri, it's 54 in St. Louis, so you can easily see where that cold front is located and going to be sticking around that particular area for a while. The front itself is now from just a stationary front wobbling back and forth is going to become a warm front in the next few days. That's why it's transferred all over to the red color here. That is going to show us a little bit more warm conditions. As long as we are south of that front, that's where we're going to keep some very warm conditions for the next several days, right on into the holidays. So if you have any plans for outdoors, yes, it's going to be very mild, but it's also going to be rather good possibility of showers and thunderstorms taking place. We've got this system sticking around, and it has been here for a while, so won't see too much of any change out of this. It'll kind of stay in the same relative neighborhood area. Now, looking back to the west, we have a new system rolling off the western coast of the United States. That system will supply just enough energy crossing the Rockies to give us a cold front heading our way by Saturday night into Sunday. That will be what gives us really the best possibility of anything involving showers or thunderstorms. So for tomorrow morning, some showers up around I-40 and farther north, but limited chances. Again, this front and system north of us don't really do too much except stay up this way, and that's where the best possibility of severe weather will be next couple of days. We'll also see again going into Friday, chances of showers, maybe again a thunderstorm taking place Friday night. But then this front really gets a little bit more oomph to it, and by Saturday afternoon, right on into about Saturday evening and into Sunday morning, right about Sunday at midnight is where that front will be coming through the area. Showers and a few thunderstorms, but by this point, this system will have lost a lot of its punch. It'll have the ability to stir up showers and some thunderstorms, but it's going to be much more limited than if we were able to just barrel through here and intersect all this warm air. Now, early next week, this cold air will be giving us a drop in the temperatures, and that front moves off, so the chances of rain will stick around through sunrise services on Sunday for Easter celebrations, and then all of that moisture finally heads out, but not until about sunset on Sunday. So after that, looks very nice, and it's a show of very good timing out across the area. Chances of rain could be, again, a bit of an issue for outdoors church activities, things like that going on. Northeast Alabama, you'll be back in the high 50s to around the lower 60s for tonight. And then about the same thing for north central and northwest Georgia into the high 50s to the lower 60s. Western North Carolina, mid 50s. Don't forget about a week or so ago, you were back in the 20s and some 30s out there. And for southeast Tennessee, mainly 60s. A few high 50s will be possible across portions of the area, but it will not be anything in the way of very frosty conditions out there. Now, where it comes to rainfall, we are really basically desperately, for all intents and purposes, behind. The last month was not kind. We are about 1 to 2 inches, give or take, behind on rainfall for the last 30 days, according to the Climate Prediction Center there, and even worse conditions into parts of the Smokies and into and around areas close to Montgomery and I-20. That dark red color indicates about 2 to 4 inches behind normal, and that means that the situation where it comes to wildfires and things of that nature is going to be increasing, and possible damage to crops. So this is something that we are going to be having to look at in the next few days. Now, the U.S. Drought Monitor, this comes out every Thursday. So this map is what it has looked like for the last week, and this was after hardly much of any rain in the last couple of weeks before. So parts of north central, northeast Georgia are easily into the number 4 out of 5 drought situation, and extreme drought. Parts of southeast Tennessee, again, back up around the area of Meigs and Monroe County, getting some very dry conditions there. This affects a lot of things. Again, it affects the possibility of wildfire. It also affects the possibility of damage to crops. This is something that could drive prices up even more when it comes to scarcity situations and dependence on things like groundwater for irrigation. Now, we'll bring you the information on what the U.S. Drought Monitor says coming up tomorrow, because this is becoming an increasingly important situation. And again, a good soaking would alleviate most of this, but that is not going to be happening from what it looks like really anytime soon. It'd be nice, but it's just really not in the cards for us to have anything really quite like that coming up anytime soon. So it would be nice to really get that good soaking in here for a while, just not really picking it up at the time being. Welcome to anybody and everybody who's tuning in for our weather blog. If you have any questions about the forecast, again, please say hi, drop it in to the comments section. We are also live on Twitch and YouTube. So again, thanks to everybody for tuning in for this. Let's take a look at our long-range forecast. If the computer will actually agree with me, that would be nice. Island Cove Marina and Resort in the background there. For tomorrow, another chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the afternoon. Same thing for Friday. A better possibility on Saturday. And as that front comes through Saturday night into Sunday, that is where we will begin to see the potential of more problems for anything in the way of Easter celebrations outdoors. A lot of the Easter egg hunts, I'm pretty sure, will have to be moved indoors, if not postponed or canceled out there. And most of the rainfall will be happening post-midnight, pre-sunrise on Sunday. So I don't think it's going to be a washout, but there's going to be enough rain around the area to really second-guess the possibility of keeping the Easter egg stuff outside, especially if there's lightning around. That is going to be a very important thing to make certain that everybody pays attention to on that. Now, next week, from Saturday to Sunday, big drop in the temperatures into the 60s for highs, then 40s, but no freezing temperatures out there, and lower 70s, closer, but still above normal, and fairly sunny into the weeks, at least the next few days following Easter. So very much on the pleasant side there. Is going to be possibility of a few showers and thunderstorms out there. Good Friday, I don't think will be a washout, but if you're heading to any of those Friday night church services there for the Tenebrae services, that again may need the umbrella there. Same thing for National Hug a News Person Day on Saturday. Chances of rain and thunderstorms increase. There's no markers for severe weather on here, and really doubtful that the atmosphere is going to be that churned up to get us anything in the way of major amounts of energy. Possible, yes, but not picking up too much of anything in the way of really powerful weather and cooler next week. I really think we've turned the corner on the winter time conditions. Now we're going to be on the cool side, but I don't think we're going to be seeing too much in the way of anything involving frost anytime soon. So I think that's very good news, especially for all the gardeners out there. Definitely something to watch out for on that. The average last frost is relatively about this time of the year, about late March, early April. But it is important if you're growing anything outside to make certain that you pay attention to all of that going on. You may have just moved here. If you're watching from someplace that doesn't get a lot of severe weather and want to know more about it, this is a great opportunity to learn more. The National Weather Service in Morristown has put together an excellent page in regards to severe weather anxiety. And for those of us who are not quite like myself and the other weather geeks that I know and enjoy the sound of tornado sirens and lightning strikes and things like that, if those things really make you very much fearful and afraid, you may have kids that are not able to handle stuff when it comes to loud noises with storms coming through, it really does help to know more about the situation. And the National Weather Service in Morristown has developed a great website with tons of information available to find out more details about how you can reduce anxiety about severe weather, knowing more about the situation, being weather aware, having that severe weather plan. Winging it, again, is not a plan. That is not good planning right there. Just saying you'll handle it when it happens really makes more sense to do a little bit more ahead of time, and that's one of the best things you can possibly do. So if you'd like to check out this page, again, go to the National Weather Service in Morristown, Tennessee, weather.gov/MRX, and you'll be able to find out a lot more about how you can get better prepared and help others around you be better prepared for severe weather. When it also comes to learning about things involving weather, the National Weather Service in Nashville has a great program called Weather 101. If you've never stopped by for this before, really urge you to give it a shot because it's very cool to take a look at what they're doing with all this information. These are just some of the topics in the next couple of weeks coming up. There's more for the end of the month, but I didn't want to push all of that information into the graphic, which would make it very hard to read. So just wanted to get a handful of what are the topics coming up, including all about the global circulations. We live on a terrarium in space, surrounded by a shell of air, water, and earth down toward the surface at sea level and beyond. But global circulations, that is something that we really do need to understand if we're going to understand things like El Nino and climate change and stuff like that. That's one of the topics. Rip currents, something to think about heading to the beach this summer. Flash flooding, topic so nice they're going to do it twice. What goes into a National Weather Service storm damage survey? That'll be coming up in just about a week. But for this Friday morning, if you'd like to learn more about radar and about how it works and why it's so important and what meteorologists can tell by using radar systems, that's all you really need to do is just stop by and take this course. You don't have to ask any questions. There won't be anything in the way of a quiz afterwards. If you want to ask questions, you will need a microphone of some sort to relay that question verbally to the meteorologists who are running the webinar. But outside of that, you just show up and listen and find out more about weather. Again, this one will be coming up Friday, April 3rd, 10 o'clock Central Time. All about radar, the website at the top there at weather.gov/OHX. So if you'd like to find out more about weather and all kinds of topics about science, National Weather Service in Nashville is proud to bring this to you, and it's a really great opportunity to really learn more about what is going on with weather and just the science behind it. So if you can, give it a shout, take a look and see, and hopefully, again, that'll be something that you get interested in there. All right, we've been on for about almost 20 minutes, and honestly, there's really not that much going on for tonight. Things are decently quiet and should hopefully remain that way for the next several hours. Maybe a shower or two, maybe a rumble of thunder, but there's really not much of anything else going on at this point. So not too much really to see for the time being. Again, if you have any questions or want to know more about what's going on with the forecast, you can always contact me at aonek@wdef.com. You can go to our website, wdef.com, to get in contact with anybody here at News 12. And if you have an event coming up that you would like to hopefully see if we can cover it. That's great, but our psychic powers are relatively below par. So if you would like to let us know by email, by snail mail, by calling us up and speaking to somebody, please do so. We would love to know about your event, and if we can schedule it as far in advance as possible, breaking news and other stuff happening notwithstanding, we would love to see about giving your event a cover. So please contact us and let us know. We can't do our jobs here without you letting us know what's going on out there in some cases. And that's where a good 3/4 of our information and our events that we cover come from. So it's from you and the community that really help us out on things like that. All right, that should do it for tonight. Going to go ahead and wrap up and send you back to your regular Wednesday evening scheduled time frame. Chip Chapman has got your forecast in the morning, so stay tuned for that. Live and direct on the 1st of April, Wednesday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. This has been the latest edition of News 12's exclusive video weather blog, Weather Overtime. Stay tuned for more with News 12 on air and online, and we'll catch you again later this week.